The law director answered some of the questions I was going to ask him, but we also have a Knox County charter, and I think that charter is back clear. I guess Mr. Gilbert then, he hadn't addressed that whatsoever, but I guess the law would say then this would supersede our charter. Is that would be correct?
It'd have to be a general law, and a general law always supersedes a charter.
Well, I don't want to debate with an attorney, but
you have for years, Commissioner, with great ability too, I might add.
A general law addressing a particular situation in one county seems strange.
That'd be a special act, and that would not work, Commissioner. It'd have to be a general law that applies to all charter counties or to all 95 counties, and that would depend very carefully on the form of the law that was passed.
You now added another wrinkle on that, on top of your several wrinkles and subterfuges of things. If you could do this and do this and do this, but this would be, you would have to admit, contrary to our charter, even though you say we can get over the charter and overrule the charter, but you have to admit that it would be contrary to the charter.
You're correct.
And help running that charter. We try to follow the Constitution and state law when we wrote it. We weren't trying to change things. We put it in there, but it in fact is in the charter. And a lot of people say, well, you weren't following the charter here. And we had some opinion for certain offices that from the Attorney General that you asked for, and you're correct, you did ask for the ruling. Now we're coming back and saying, well, let's throw the charter out the window on this provision because we don't like this provision. Well, we're just saying, so will the charter. And I just have some problems that we can say, well, we can go to Nashville and we'll just override the Knox County charter. That's what you're advising us to do, okay? Because of the feeling of the state that they ought to override charter. But I really would like to ask the law department of the Knox County, in terms of this, whether his ruling is that we have some questions about the Constitution, and Mr. Gilbert said that he didn't put the right questions to him. I don't know whether they did or did not. Okay, I'm not going to go there because I don't know. All I know is that the person applying no, maybe it was improper question. I don't know that. Is against the current state law by definition, or you wouldn't be bringing it up. It's against the current charter of Knox County, and is against the ruling of the Supreme Court of the state. And you can argue, well, they didn't go there, but I presume the Supreme Court could have gone where they wanted to go. And they could have done a lot of things, in my opinion, one of which would have kept those offices de facto, because they were de facto for a period of time anyhow, by their definition. They could continue to 2008, the next general election. Then the former county commission here wouldn't have had to make any appointments. There would have been new elections, 12 people would have been replaced by definition and gone on. And that would have been the ruling. That would have been the final ruling. There would have been no appeal to that ruling. They made some tough decisions, whether to make the correct ones or not, I don't know. In my case, it was wrong, but the other ones might have been all right. So I like to have the law department really give things as to this. I have a question, too, is that we would have 2 county elections for 12, and then there's some others. There's school board races, there's the law director, there's the property assessor, so we'd have to immediately go into primaries and a general election for the other ones. So you have people elected to county offices in 2 different manners, because I'm not sure, and you did not opine, whether you could move those elections. And maybe you could. I don't know whether you could or not. And you didn't opine that, but unless we can move them all, there would be increased costs because we're holding another election. But if there is a change and the term is shortened, I did not ask for the appointment. As people know, I did not ask for it. And I will serve as long as is valid. And when I leave, with no apologies and no regrets.
Commissioner, if I could, and I appreciate those points. They're excellent points. You know, I'm going to speak as a Knox County and a citizen of this county right now. Maybe you're not aware of what I'm aware and what I hear every day on the street, but we've got a political crisis right now in this county. And I think the mayor's effort is only attempting to come to a solution that as quickly as possible lets the public of this county restore its confidence in its government. You can pick at it all day long, you can attack it all day long and find 100 reasons not to support it, but when it's all put down to its simplest form, it's whether you're willing to try to do something to regain the public trust. And all of you are wonderful people who serve in a very difficult position. This is just one opportunity to try to let the public speak again as quickly as possible. And if you don't want to try it, vote no. But if you think it has a chance and you'd like to have the tool in the toolbox, because none of you know what's going to happen when the chancellor's finished with the 2 lawsuits that is before it, and all of you, the 8 that were recently appointed, may suddenly not be in your seats again, you're going to want to have every tool possible to let the public speak as quickly as they can. If you don't like that approach, that's fine. It's no disrespect to me. It's no disrespect to the mayor. The mayor is simply trying to respond to the public crises at hand. We're using every tool and ability we can to give you options, alternatives. If you don't like it, vote no. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question, Bud? This question that you and the mayor have asked the AG, are you asking for a general election, for the general election next year to be moved up to August, November, or July, November for all 95 counties?
Well, Mr. Law Director, we haven't actually decided on the form of the law. We were going to see what the AG advised.
I wasn't involved in the question,
yes,
and
sir.
So this is the first I've heard the question.
And have you received a copy of Senator Burchett's Attorney General opinion request?
No.
Okay, I'll be glad to get you a copy of that. But it's 7 questions. It's very complete, and it's aimed at trying to get us the answer so we can make intelligent decisions. But there would be great flexibility in what that law looked like if the AG says the legislature can define what the next election is. It could be a special election called by the county commission. You would decide when that election is. It might be set in the legislation that it be the next municipal election. There are a number of possibilities there if you're allowed to do it. And you, by the way, would have an opportunity to make that decision when the actual legislation is formed, because you get to vote on it again.
So what you're asking this body to do is to vote on a measure that they really don't know the outcome?
That law...
They've never seen the questions that have been asked?
No, as I understand the mayor's request, he's asking you to go on record to let your legislative delegation know that you are asking for this tool in the toolbox. The law, when it's formed, will probably have to be voted on again by this commission before it will be effective.
My question is, what is the tool?
Well,
apparently there are seven questions that are being asked of the Attorney General. Has that request been shared with our legislative body?
I'll read question 1 from Senator Burchett's letter. May the General Assembly pass a general law applicable to all counties of Tennessee or just to counties that have adopted a charter form of government that defines the phrase next election, that's in quotes in Article 7, Section 2 of the State of Tennessee Constitution, to mean, quote, the earlier of 1, the next general election, or 2, the date of a special election set by the county commission responsible for filling the vacancy. Such legislation would also authorize the county to conduct a countywide election in such event if that date, the election set by the county commission, is earlier than the next general election. Question 2, would the response to request number 1 differ if the subject legislation defined the phrase, quote, next election in Article 7, Section 2 of the Constitution to mean the earlier of 1, the next general election, or 2, the date of the next municipal election for the largest municipality in the county? Those were the 2 vehicles that we thought the AG could focus on, but to be honest with you, the county commission could direct us to have the legislation include another definition of what the next election is.
All right.
Commissioner Trammell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We knew we may be in this pickle way before we were there. Back before the Bailey decision was handed down, there was an opportunity to have